Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the untold stories of real espionage, betrayal, and secret intelligence operations from around the world. From Cold War spy games to modern intelligence failures, we explore the darkest corners of history. In this podcast series, we dive deep into the shocking case of Robert Hanssen, the FBI agent who betrayed his country from within. Stay tuned for the next episode as we continue unraveling one of the most dangerous spy cases in American history. Episode 1. The Double Life Begins. Robert Philip Hanssen was born in Chicago in 1944. He grew up in a strict, emotionally cold household. His father, a Chicago police officer, was often verbally abusive and emotionally distant. This environment would later shape Hanssen's introverted, secretive personality. He learned early on to keep thoughts to himself, to mask his emotions, and to find comfort in isolation. These traits would follow him throughout his life. After studying chemistry at Knox College and earning an MBA from Northwestern University, Hanssen briefly worked as an accountant. But his career path took a sharp turn in 1976 when he joined the FBI. He began in the agency's field office in Gary, Indiana, before being transferred to New York City. He quickly gravitated toward counterintelligence, the shadowy world of foreign agents, covert operations, and internal threats. It was the perfect environment for someone who craved control, secrecy, and intellectual challenge. Hanssen didn't spy out of ideology. He wasn't a communist sympathizer. He didn't need the money, at least not desperately. His motivations were complex: ego, resentment, the thrill of deception, and a belief that he was smarter than everyone else. He considered many of his FBI colleagues to be inferior, intellectually and morally. The idea of outsmarting them gave him a sense of power. In those early years, he operated cautiously. He never met his handlers in person. Instead, he used anonymous letters, aliases, and code names. One of his first major betrayals was giving the Soviets the names of 3 double agents working for the United States. All 3 men were later captured and executed. These betrayals sent shockwaves through U.S. intelligence, but no one knew where the leak had come from. Hanssen was meticulous. He wore gloves when handling packages. He avoided patterns. He used dead drops to pass secrets, hiding packages in parks, under footbridges, behind rocks. He communicated through notes left in inconspicuous places and received his payments in cash or diamonds left behind in similar fashion. His code name with the Soviets was Ramon Garcia. At home, he maintained the image of a devoted husband and father. He had 6 children. He lived in a modest house in the Virginia suburbs. He coached youth groups, taught Sunday school, and lived what seemed to be a quiet, respectable life. No one suspected that beneath the calm surface, he was carrying out one of the most damaging espionage operations in U.S. history. By the late 1980s, Hanssen abruptly stopped spying. He claimed it was for religious and moral reasons. He even confessed some of his actions to a priest, who told him to donate his earnings to charity. Hanssen agreed, but kept the diamonds and some of the cash hidden away. His break from spying lasted nearly 5 years. But in 1989, something changed. Perhaps it was boredom, perhaps it was financial stress, or perhaps the thrill of deception proved too addictive. Whatever the reason, Hanssen resumed contact with Soviet intelligence. This time, he was more careful, more calculated, and more dangerous. As the Cold War began to wind down, Hanssen adapted. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, but the Russian Federation's intelligence agencies, particularly the SVR and the FSB, inherited the old KGB networks. Hanssen seamlessly transitioned to working with them, continuing to provide valuable information in exchange for money and gifts. Through it all, the FBI remained unaware. Despite a few internal investigations, a few moments of suspicion, and several security breaches, Hanssen remained untouched. He knew the protocols. He knew how counterintelligence worked. He knew exactly how to hide. But eventually, Patterns would emerge. Whispers would begin. The damage would start to feel too widespread to ignore. And the perfect double life he had built, so carefully, so brilliantly, would begin to crack. Hanssen was a devout Catholic. He attended Mass regularly, believed in traditional values, and even joined Opus Dei, a conservative and secretive branch of the Catholic Church. He projected the image of a deeply moral, principled man. He discouraged swearing, wore conservative suits, and upheld a strict, almost puritanical code of conduct. To his friends and co-workers, he was disciplined, private, and loyal. But beneath that surface, something darker was taking root. A deep resentment, a sense of superiority, and a craving for recognition. In 1979, just 3 years after joining the FBI, Hanssen made a shocking move. Without telling anyone, not even his wife, he approached the Soviet Military Intelligence Agency, the GRU, and offered to sell classified information. There was no coercion, no blackmail. He made the approach entirely on his own. It was the beginning of a betrayal that would last more than 2 decades.